you to GEG Ahmedabad and GEG Pune Saturday session. I would quickly like to introduce ourselves to people who are new here and joining for the first time. So we have with us Dr. Vishal Varia, who is a Google certified trainer and leader of GEG Ahmedabad. And my name is Reshma Honap. I am also a Google certified trainer and a leader of GEG Pune. We have our Twitter handles. Please remember, whatever you learn, if you share, it is going to help more educators around the world. So we have our special guests, but before the introduction, I just want to give a quick review of what is happening at Google and what might really benefit you all if you attend those sessions. So the three important things in the month of February are the Indian Education Summit, which is from Google for Education and Indian Express together. They have an online virtual summit. Then we have Learning with Google and Google Classroom video series from Google for Education, which is a new thing which will help you all address some of the issues that you might have in your classrooms. So about the Indian Education Summit, I have put up the links here under the register now. So I'll be sharing this slide deck with you in some time. But this is basically a 3-day summit, which will feature key industry stakeholders discussing and deliberating some of the important topics of education in India and around the world. So the summit is free for anybody to join, even if you are a teacher, student, from an entrepreneur, if you are if you have your own classes or whatever area of work you are. You just have to register for the session, attend it, it's live. So, and you can check out the timings from the country where you are in. It is not just India, it is listed, I checked it, it is for Americas, Europe, Asia, and I think Asia Pacific and other part of the country. So I'll send the links over with the slide deck. The second thing is Learning with Google. Very, very wonderful opportunity for all the educators to learn exactly what changes have been made, what new things are coming that can help you, and that too directly from the Google. So the Google product heads or people who are behind it would be presenting what new tools or what new functionality is there. So which is also online February 17th and 18th. The link is also listed here. So though I think we shared it in our emails, but I'll share this again. The third thing that I wanted to show you is the Google Classroom Educator series. I'm not going to play the video right now. We can watch it later because we don't want to take up our very, very exciting time with Whiteboard.chat. But this is a whole playlist of Google Classroom series where you can see and hear it in different languages. And we are hoping and we are looking forward to having Indian languages included in it. And this series addresses specific issues from all over the areas of your education field, like how do I do this, not just the technical part of it, but more of a soft skill part as well, using Google Classroom. So these are the three things. All the links will be sent to you. And, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't want it to play the video right now. Okay, so here we are today. Let us start with our session, Whiteboard.chat. So we have our special guests today, the founders of Whiteboard.chat, the people behind it who designed this wonderful tool. So I would just stop presenting my screen because we want to see the people behind it.
We have Mr. Pawan Oberoi, Siddharth Vajirkar, and Dhaval Shah from Whiteboard.chat with us. They are the people, technologists behind this wonderful tool, which is of use for teachers for remote teaching. And we are so overjoyed today that they are there with us today. The people who have actually invented this and who have understood what problems do teachers face when they are teaching remotely. This is really a wonderful tool. And it's before I say something about the tool, or before Reshma says anything about the tool, let us have the people saying about the tool themselves. So, Mr. Pawan, I would request you to please introduce yourself. the audience and kindly take the session further.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Vishal. Thank you, Reshma. So let me present my screen. All right. So I hope you guys can see my screen.
Yeah, it's just done. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, visible.
All right. Thank you again. My name is Pawan Oberoi. I am based out of California, originally from India. I have a couple of colleagues with me, Siddharth Vajikar, who is here in California with me, and Dhaval Shah, who's in Ahmedabad right now. So we are a startup, a very small company. We started in December of 2019, just before the pandemic hit, right? And when the pandemic hit, we were building a different product. And when the pandemic hit, we saw our own kids struggling with remote learning. So we took parts of the product that we were building and we created Whiteboard.chat. And since then, it's been taken over by teachers from around the world. We have a Facebook community where they have about 3,500 teachers who help guide us and tell us what to do. So it's completely designed. This tool is completely designed by teachers from around the world. It is a free tool. We intend to keep it completely free for educators because we believe one of our fundamental beliefs is that everybody should have access to the same tools wherever or whoever they are, right? So we shouldn't give some people privilege to have better tools based on whether they're able to afford it or not, because we really want to build this for the students and the teachers from around the world. Okay, that said, this is the agenda for today. I'm going to demonstrate some of the basic features. I'll invite you to experience it live with us as well. So you can play with that with us as we go along. And we can do question and answers, but I request you to please type them out on Google Chat. So that way my colleagues can read them out periodically to me. Google Whiteboard.chat works really nicely with all of the Google tools as well as any other tools that are out there. And we are going to show you how to use it with Google Meet. It works with Google Classroom really well. You can put the links to the whiteboard in there and the students just need to click it and it makes a board for them. This is the main feature behind Whiteboard.chat, which is kind of unique, which allows the teacher to view over a kid's shoulder, like pretend there's a camera behind a kid's shoulder, right? And you can see their notebook or their board as they're working through their lesson in real time, right? And you can do that for the whole classroom. It's not just for the kid, one kid. If you were in the real classroom, if you're walking around the class, you can observe one kid or two kids or a group of kids. But with this tool, you can actually see the whole class working through the lesson. And teachers have told us that this has brought engagement to a level that they haven't seen even with in-person learning, because they can see not only one or two kids, but they can see everybody, even the quiet ones. And you can do a lot more stuff, which I will show you as well, when kids are working asynchronously as well. This is a fairly new tool. We just launched it in August of last year and it's growing like crazy. These are holidays in the middle, but it's growing at an exponential rate, right? It's used all around the world. Iceland doesn't like it, but everywhere else in the world, they use this tool quite a lot. And like I said, we have about 250 features that we have implemented since we started based on teachers' requests. So please tell us how we can keep improving. You can either send us an email, you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, or subscribe to our YouTube channel. And there is a Facebook group that all the teachers interact with us. They interact with each other. As said, can post a link in the chat if you like this tool, and if you are on Facebook, I recommend that you use it, you follow us there. So that said, I'm going to start showing you the tool. It's a web-based tool. So you just go to Whiteboard.chat, or in the case of teachers in India, there's a version in India as well, or in Asia. It's called asia.whiteboard.chat, right? And you just click the Start Drawing button, right? There are two modes to Whiteboard.chat. One is a more which is meant for adults, like where you collaborate with each other on the same board, right? But the problem is that you can also erase each other's work, or you can write over each other's work, and which makes it difficult for teaching. So we have this other mode where you can create, assign, and live teach individual student boards very easily. So we are going to primarily talk about this mode in this webinar today. So you just click this. It works on all devices. It works on Chromebooks, iPads, Macs, PCs, anything you can think of. People use it on smartphones as well. It's a little limited in terms of the screen space, but it is usable on smartphones too. And you don't need an account. But teachers don't need account. Students don't need account. The only reason why you would want to create an account as a teacher is to save your work and the students' work. And you can just use your Google login to log into this tool. So you don't need to create a different password too. So I get started. It gets started just like a regular whiteboard. You can draw on it, right? The cool thing is that you can type anywhere on the screen. You don't have to put text boxes. If you just start typing anywhere on the screen, it will put your text box there automatically, right? On the bottom right corner here are the basic tools. So you can change like the pen color if you want to. The whole interface of the tool changes when you change to the different pen color. Some teachers love it, some don't like it. So there's a setting in the settings, you can disable that. There's a way to increase the thickness of the line by moving the first slider here, right? There is a way to decrease the opacity, right? So that you can make it a highlighter if you want to, right? And then there is a text size and a font selector as the third slider. So you can make it bigger, you can make it smaller, right? Now, how most of the teachers use this tool is by uploading files to it. So you can either upload PDFs or image files, or you can download Google Slides as PDF and upload them, right? So you just go here on the left. This is your main toolbar, right? You say upload file, and you can upload it from your computer. You can say, let's say I have a file that I have a PDF that has 3 pages, right? It's a worksheet that has 3 pages. I just select that, and it'll, for each page in the PDF, it'll create a page in Whiteboard.chat automatically. So that was page number 1. This was page number 2, right? And this is page number 3. So I get 3 pages immediately in Whiteboard.chat. I can see what they are. I can move them around from this bottom left thumbnail icon if I want to. And now I'm ready to invite students because I've prepared for the lesson. I've uploaded the work. I just need to invite the students into this. So you can use this invite button on the top right corner here to invite your students. So if you click this, they can either scan the QR code or you can use the class code. But what most teachers do is they copy this URL and then they send it to the kids. They put this in the Google Classroom, right? So then the kids will all have this URL and they can start using it to join as students. So what I'll do is I'm going to send this to my colleagues, and I'll also open a side-by-side window in incognito mode, so you can actually see what the student experience is. So this is a student board. If they would have clicked the link, what would happen? The first thing when the student joins, they are asked for their name, right? So that they can be identified to the teacher. So I call this guy student 1. And you see that immediately they get a copy of, this is like a template. So they get a copy of this board, right? And they can start annotating. Let me change the color on the student side so it's more obvious. Right, so Alright, so you can see the student, they start typing, they can start writing, they can start annotating on top of the PDF that I just uploaded, right? They can start doing the work immediately. And this is the cool part, that as a teacher, I can observe the whole class as they're working. I can go into this grid view from the bottom here, and I can observe live. You can see like what Sid is drawing a tree. Right? You can observe him live as he's drawing the tree, how he's progressing through the lesson. Same with this person. If we go to a different page, you see that this tile updates automatically to go to page number 2. Right? So you can observe the kids as they're working live through the lesson, where they're struggling, where they're doing well. You can even join them on their boards. So if I were to click this and join them on their board, right, on one-on-one lesson, I can tell them, hey, you're doing a good job. Right? You can even give them a sticker. So we have a bunch of stickers or manipulatives here, which I will show you. But I can give them like a parrot, let's say, right? Any kind of sticker. They have reward stickers, they have animal stickers, just to for different purposes. Right, and that's it. And once you're done, you can go back, you can keep observing the rest of the class and see how everybody else is doing. Okay. So this is all you need to know to start using Whiteboard.chat, just these 5 minutes. Upload a file, invite a student, and observe them. That's it, right? But we have, like I said, over 200 different features that I'll try to show some parts to it, but this is just the basics that you can get to get started. So I'll pause here for a second and see if Sid has any questions for me.
No, nothing specific so far, Pawan. I think you keep going.
Okay, thank you. Right, so the students have the ability to raise their hand too. So if they need help, they can click this paw button on the top here. They can say, hey, I need help, or I'm finished with my work. And you can see the notification show up on the teacher's board. And the teacher can just click this and directly take them to their board where the children needs help, right? And then you can work with them on one-on-one basis, help them where they need help, and then go back to the instructor view after you're done, right? So that's really simple to interact with students too. And now I will show you the rest of the tools that are built into this whiteboard on the left-hand side. So I go to a new page. It's an empty page, right? I can show you some of the tools that we have here in the tools section. There is, of course, there is a drawing tool. There is an erasing tool. There's an explicit text tool. If you want to place text, you can use that. But most of the other tools are in this tools thing. You can draw lines, you can draw arrows, you can draw shapes, polygons, rectangles, right? You can fill them if you double click or right click it. You can fill it with colors if you want to, right? You can do all of those things. We have a post-it note built in, so you can have different types of post-it notes. So if you want to have a post-it note and you want to type on it, you can do that, right? You have different colors of the post-it notes. We have a built-in snip tool, so you can actually, if you want to keep only part of the PDF, right, you select parts of the PDF that you want to keep, and then you can either make copies of it or you can crop it. So if I crop it, you see that only that part of the PDF is left, right? We have a rich text editor. So if you want to write, have your kids write longer paragraphs, better formatting, different languages, you can use the rich text editor with a keyboard as well, right? There is an infinite cloner. So any of the objects that you have on the screen, like post-it notes or rectangles, you can use the infinite cloner to make copies really easily. You just click and drag, and it will make copies of the objects that you're using. And this is mainly for teachers. Students don't need to use any of these tools, mainly, especially younger students. So they use, I'll show you how students use it. There's a way to add links to external websites. So if you want to put a link to Google, for example, or you want to put a link to a lesson somewhere outside, you can do that too. It will show up as a link here, and the students can just click it. It opens in a different window, and then they can continue doing what they were doing. There is, you can embed YouTube videos in here as well. So if you have a YouTube video you want to embed, you want to have the kids watch a YouTube video. So if you go to YouTube, you can just pick a video from YouTube, right? And then you can just say, you can put the URL here and say, start this video at time 50 seconds, end it at 120 seconds. And it'll only play that duration of the video for the kids, right? So if the kid goes to page number 4, they can see that it'll only play that duration of the video for them, and it'll take out the ads as well, right? So it's really useful from asynchronous or watching videos perspective. You can also embed external websites, including Google Slides. So if you have Google Slides that you want people to view, you can embed that in here as well very easily, right? And the kids can interact with it, they can play with it. So this is super powerful way to embed external content inside Whiteboard.chat. There's a very comprehensive math editor built in, so you can actually type really any kind of math equations if you want to, right? So it's super useful to do that, right? So, and then we have in our help, there's a help section in this 3 dots menu. If you open that, there's like a teacher's guide, there's a student's guide, there's a math input guide. So you can look through the math input guide to see how you can type all kinds of equations and stuff in this. You can do quadratic equations, you can do polynomials, you can do fractions, you can do summation. So there's a whole bunch of stuff you can do with the math editor itself, right? It makes it easy to prepare for the lessons and for the kids to solve it. We have a compass built in. There's a pointer built in where you can spotlight certain sections, right? There's some of the teachers in Malaysia gave us this idea to put a stoplight on the page. So what that does is that if the kids, it gives an easy way for the teacher to find out the pulse of the class, right? If the kid is not understanding something, they can quietly put a red light on their grade, and the teacher can quickly find out how many people understand what they're talking about, or not understand, or kind of understand, or they're good, so they can get a quick reading of the classroom, even from the quiet kids who don't speak up. Right? So this is super useful from that perspective. I'll pause again for a second and see if there are any questions or comments so far, Sid, or should we keep?
Yes, a few questions, Pawan. How do you increase the size of an inserted PDF?
So good question. So if I were to, there is a move and resize tool. So if I there is a move and resize tool, that's the easiest way. You just click this guy, and then you can drag from the corner, right? And you can move it around. You can even rotate it if you want to.
Right. Can the teacher erase something on the student's page?
Yes, teachers can erase stuff on the student's page. So if the students can never erase any of the work that the teacher has done. So if I were to show you that first, so if I go to the first page right here, if I use the eraser, I can never erase the work that the teacher has put. I can't erase the PDF or the image. I can erase only the green stuff which was put by the student, right? But as a teacher, if somebody is doing something inappropriate, you can still join their board and you can erase the stuff that they have done. You can also see, I'll show you group boards also in a second, but you can, if you use the select tool, you can see who wrote that. So you can see here it was written by the student one, right? And you can also erase it if you want to.
Okay. When the teacher is helping a student one-on-one, would the rest of the students also see the specific student's board?
No, when the teacher joins that single student's board, the rest of the class doesn't see it at all. The students only see their boards at all times. There is a way to showcase students' work, which I will show you as well. But when the teacher joins, it's only between the teacher and that student.
Can the teacher control any of the student activities in case they're creating some nuisance?
Yes, you can lock student boards. You can lock the whole class. You can lock an individual student's board. You can set it to teacher paste as well. So you can say follow the teacher. So they, like, for example, follow teacher mode from the avatar menu here, right? You can set up follow teacher. And then when the teacher is on page 1, everybody's on page 1. We go to page 2, everybody's on page 2, right, and so forth. You can lock the class from here as well. Right? You can say lock class. Now the students cannot write, they cannot do anything, but the teacher can still do corrections, or they can put stuff on the board.
Good. What are the minimum bandwidth needs for, say, 25 students?
So the bandwidth that Whiteboard.chat needs is very low, because we are not sending the full screen, right? We are sending the individual objects only. So initially, for the kids to load the PDF, they'll need a little bit of bandwidth, but after that, the needs are very, very small. So it works on very low bandwidth scenarios really well as well.
And regarding the YouTube tool, does it take out ads automatically, or do you need to create some playlist for it?
No, it takes out the ads on its own.
Can students access the board at a different time without teacher supervision?
Yes. So if the teachers use it for asynchronous or homework type activities as well. So the students can get to the board anytime. They can just click the same link. Even if they want to continue. So for example, if I close this incognito window and the student goes home or goes to a different computer even, right? And then they click the same link, the same invite link, they'll be asked for their name. Or if it remembers their name, they'll go back to exactly the same board that they were working on earlier.
Great. And on a mobile device, how do you scroll around the whole page?
So use 2 fingers. So if you use 2 fingers to pan around, you can scroll around the whole page.
This is more like Aladdin's lamp. You have a question, you got everything solved beforehand. Brilliant, brilliant. Oh, this is really great.
Thank you. I think basically this is designed by teachers, so it's complete. It feels very familiar. All the tools that they ask for, hey, I wish I had this, right? So we just do that, right? So that's why it's easy to use, easy to understand, and all the
I'm sure if the STEM teachers would be asking you one more question: is that can we have some experiments also done through this whiteboard chat?
We actually have some chemistry stuff in here as well, so you can
do. So you still, that's brilliant. As I say, it's Aladdin's lamp now.
Yeah, so teachers have asked us to do like molecule construction and stuff like that. So there is a lot of cool stuff which is in there.
I can completely vouch for them. I still don't know enough of this board, because every time I log in, I try to find different things. But even if you ask them a question, the return response is in like less than a minute. Either other teachers help you, and Pawan and Sid, everybody is like always ready to listen to teachers. So if you have a specific idea in mind and you say, oh, can I do this? Probably within 12 hours, it will be added to the board, and they'll tell you the steps where to do. So that is why it is like completely devoted to what teachers wants. That is what excites me actually to use this tool.
And really appreciate the way, I mean, they kept it free for the teachers, and this pandemic, this is really a wonderful help to the teachers as well as the students. So for the cause of education, really salutations to you and your team.
Thank you so much. Sorry.
Yeah, you can keep going now.
Yeah, so there are other tools which I'll show you. again, don't get overwhelmed with all of these. You don't have to use all of these tools. You can just start very simple, upload PDF and use it. That's it. There's calculators built in, like there's a simple calculator that you can disable that on the children's board. You see, they don't have access to it. You can set up very simple tools for the students to use. They don't have to use all of these things, right? There's a simple calculator. There is a graphing calculator, the Geogebra calculator built in as well. So you can do stuff with it as well. So I don't know how to use it, but I'm sure teachers do. There's something we call a tile factory. So what you can do is that if you want to teach kids it's like creating Scrabble tiles very easily, right? So if I were to, let me erase some of these things. So you can create tiles of different types. You can say A, B, and different colors. You can even have words. You can have emojis, symbols in it, like an octopus. And then you can set it such that students can either move these tiles around or they can clone it really easily, right? Remember, the teacher work, students cannot change. But if you do this, it'll create these tiles. And then if you go to, if I, as a student, go to page number 4, and then I can use the move and resize tool, and it just makes copies of it. So they can do word constructions, they can do arrangements, they can do math, simple math, all of it with the tile factory. You can create tables, of course. There is a text box tool. There is a little text box tool that for younger kids, if you want them to put text boxes in a certain location, right, you can create this text box tool there. The good thing about the text box tools is that it can do auto grading or corrections as well. So you can add answers and points to it. You can say this thing is worth 1 point. The right answer is ABC. And if the kids type ABC in their text box and you do your auto correction, right, you will see that they get like 100% score and they get instant feedback, really, right? So it's easier for the teachers to give feedback to the whole class as to where they're right and where they're wrong or where they need more work. So it's super easy. There is a way to write software as well. I don't know if you have computer science teachers in this call, but you can actually write simple pieces of software in Whiteboard.chat itself in JavaScript. And we have music instruments here too. So we have like a xylophone built in and a piano, like 2-octave piano built in for teaching music as well. So you can
so music teacher can also take the benefit.
Yep.
Great.
Yeah, so I think so the one of the other key things is that even when the kids are in class, right, not everybody has access to all the tools at the same time. You only have one piano or 2 or 5, right? Here now everybody will get access to the same tools. That's the good part about technology, really.
Brilliant.
So then there are Sid, are there any questions or should we keep going?
Yeah, a couple of quick questions. One is there a limit on the number of whiteboards a teacher can create?
No, there's no limit. You can create as many whiteboards as you want. The whiteboards do expire in 2 weeks. So I will show you that. So if I were to call this GG Pune, right? So let's call it GG Pune. I go back to my manage board. So all the work that the teacher is doing gets saved automatically. All the work that the student is doing gets saved automatically as well under this name. Right. So it takes a couple of minutes. I have thousands of these. So you see GG Pune, I have my work and all the students' work getting saved here automatically. And it is expiring on Feb 15th, right? So I can just extend the expiry by clicking this and it'll extend it by a month. And you can keep doing that forever. That's the only thing that you have to be careful about. There are community boards in here as well. So other teachers from around the world have shared their work for different grade levels, different subjects. You can look at how they're using and you can reuse it for free for your class or modify it based on what you see here. Right? So it's super useful to get started to look through all of these boards that are already existing.
Is there a limit on the number of students per classroom?
Right now we have a limit of 125 students, but it's a soft limit. We can increase it if you think you need more.
Can we show construction as a whole using the ruler, compass, protractor all at the same time?
Yeah, you can. We can get into that maybe in a little bit.
Can you repeat again where you can find the chemistry symbols?
Yes, so I will show you all the symbols here. It's in this palette here. We're going to add somebody sent an email in the morning asking for a periodic table too. So we'll add a periodic table this weekend probably, right? So that, but if you go to this palette, it does two things. It opens a simple color picker for the younger kids, and it opens this thing on the side, which has all kinds of things. You have math objects, right, for younger kids to just drag and drop. We have music. So, oh, I didn't show you the grids. So we have grids in here, so you can actually put my music sheet. So music sheet, like for example, and then you can teach music theory, right? You can do music theory from here. You have letters of the alphabet in capital letters, numbers, magnetic letters, right? You can use all of these. There is phonogrammic alphabets. There is tiles. For again, you can use the tile factory to generate these, but you can just use them from here as well, right? Very easily. We have math manipulators. I don't know how well teachers in India use this, like 100 blocks, 10 blocks, 1 blocks. We have algebraic tiles. We have a protractor, right? We have rulers. We have 10 frames, number bonds, place value charts. There's number lines, so arches, fraction tiles, right? You can use fraction tiles. These are for younger kids, fraction digits, touch point numbers, multiplication charts. So there's like maybe 1,000 different things in here. We have currencies from around the world. We have Indian currency also, right? So you can teach currencies stuff if you want to teach the kids. We have chemistry here, which I showed you earlier. We have different languages. We even have Hindi alphabets, right? So you can teach kids Hindi right from here as well. There's Tamil, there's animal stickers, which I showed you. And we periodically put other stickers here too, like Valentine's is now. We have emoji stickers. We have widgets, which I will show you in a second. So there's a lot of stuff in here which you can pick from. And this takes us literally 10 minutes to add. If there's something missing, we can add in 10 minutes. Or you can add it as well. So if you find something from the internet or your bit emoji, you can add it to your own My Objects really easily, right? So if you wanted like a carbon symbol, which we don't have, you can just add it in here, and you can keep reusing again and again in your lessons. Anything else, Sid?
Yes. Can you show again where the GeoGebra calculator can be found?
Yes. So it's here in the tools. If you go to the tools, you see the calculators and you see the graphing calculator.
How does the teacher save a lesson, and how do they download the teachers and students' work?
So save is automatic. Just as I showed you, just put the name here. It will get saved in your manage boards automatically. You can download your work by clicking this button. You can download the whole class as a single PDF or one PDF per child. The students can do that too. They can download it as a PDF, but the work automatically keeps getting saved. Once teachers become comfortable with this tool, they don't download anymore, right? But initially, if they do want to save it, they do download the work. You can send the copy of your work to another teacher or to your whole class level, right? If you create a board and you want other teachers to use it, you can send a copy so they can make copies of it really easily. You can save a copy for your different sections. If you teach section A, section B, section C, you can use that to teach, save different copies as well.
Can you repeat how you could do some animation of objects on the screen?
Sure. So you have very basic animations built into Whiteboard.chat. So either objects that you pick from the internet, or even if you draw, you can just say animate rotate, right? And then you can also say animate move and draw a path. And you can do that for objects that you, any of the objects that are on the screen, right? So you can do that. You can right click and then pick from the menu.
Cool. I think there are a few questions that you'll probably be covering anyway, so you can keep going.
Right. So then there are grids, like there's a regular, my mouse got stuck again. Something's wrong with my mouse. Sorry. Yeah. Maybe you can answer the questions while my mouse recovers.
Sure, okay. There's one about checking the performance and giving feedback. So, not sure you want to answer that.
So I have.
Go ahead.
Can I?
Yes.
So I started clicking on French, but I'm not getting those letters, whereas I'm getting the other languages there.
I see. Okay, we can take a look. So you're saying French alphabets are not working?
Yeah.
Okay, we will take a look in a, I think maybe there's a little bit. Are you using the Asia whiteboard?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, we will take a look and maybe fix it.
Okay, cool.
Thank you.
All right, so my mouse is back. So we can, there is this, so there's a basic grid, there's a big grid. This big grid is super useful. It's like mini Excel, right? So you can have the kids just type answers. If you're doing math, like the kids can just go in and type answers in that grid. It makes it easy to teach math, right? There is other grid options. There's a handwriting grid that teachers like. There's a college line grid, which makes it look like a notebook. So you can actually set the background colors as well, so it actually makes it look like a real notebook, which teachers love as well, right? We have a college line. This is college line. There's a coordinate plane that you can build in, so you can say, I want to do math. You can have a coordinate plane built in, right? Which makes it easy to do constructions. There is a primary line paper to do for younger kids. There's a music sheet, which I showed you. Right? There's a grid painter where you can do bar graphs and stuff like that. There's a dot painter. So there's a whole bunch of different backgrounds as well that you can look at in this grid section here. There are timers built into Whiteboard.chat too. So you can say if there's a timed activity, I give you 5 minutes, the timer starts on everybody's board here, right? And then you can set the board to auto lock if the timer expires, right? That's a useful thing to do as well. And then you can shut off the timer. You can also set timers for asynchronous activities. You can, if you give them a lesson to do at homework, but you only want to give them 10 minutes to do that homework, you can say when the student joins, start the timer for 10 minutes and auto lock it after the timer expires. So that's super useful as well. Okay. There are a whole bunch of tools in here as well. So if you have more than one teacher, you can make, so students don't see each other's page, they don't see each other's work. So if you want somebody to become a co-teacher, you can just click this, it'll make them a co-teacher. If you want to showcase a student's work, so if you want to say, hey, Sid is doing really well, and I want to show the whole class how he is doing on his board, you can see that now everybody's board is updated to Sid's board, but his name is hidden, so it's anonymous. And you can showcase multiple students' work as well. So you can actually showcase, like I'm showcasing Sid's work, I can showcase the students' work as well, side by side. So you can actually watch both students' work simultaneously and compare and contrast. Again, it's anonymous showcasing as well. And then there is a chat built in to Whiteboard.chat. That's the chat feature, which is a one-to-many chat. So when the teacher types, the thing only goes to the students, but when the student types, it only goes back to the single teacher. And the students, I don't know, they can set their chat language as well, or any recipient can set the language. They can say, hey, I want to get my chat in German, for example, right? And then and the teacher types, it automatically translates to their language, right? So it helps if you're teaching a different language, or if your kids don't understand the language that you're teaching in, right? Which is common in certain parts of the world. You can create group activities too. So you can do, like for example, you can create a group board where you want the kids to collaborate with each other. So if I want to put Sid, Dhaval, and the student in a group, I just select them, I move them to the right, I call it a name, right, and then say group. And then you can see that all of the kids will be in the same group board. I can put different widgets on the group board as well. And even on the group board, the kids cannot erase each other's drawing, right? They can erase their own, but they cannot erase each other's drawing. Like this is being written by Sid, I cannot erase it. And you can put widgets in here too. We have widgets like we have dice, we have spinners, which you can program. Spinner you can program to either have numbers or students' names, so that whose turn is it. So all of those things you can put in here, right? So we also have dice that you can use to do that. We have an analog clock here as well. So, and the students can play with each other on the group board very easily, and that makes it super useful for activities. Okay, and then once you're done with the group activity, you can just trash this and it will go back to the main page. So at this time, what I will do is I'll create a whiteboard in Asia, right? And I'll invite you guys so you can experience it with us, right? So it's a little slow for us from here, but it will work really well for you. So on the group board, what I will do is I'll put a world map, right? And I'll ask you. So I'll upload a map of the world, and then I'll ask you to move or highlight where you come from. And let me, if there are any questions while I'm doing this.
Yeah, sure. So regarding the coordinate geometry, can we drag and drop items onto the grid?
Yeah, you can do drag and drop activities. There's a dot painter also, which Reshma really likes. So we recently added. So that one you can use to put as well.
Right. Do we have to log in to Google to use this board?
No, you don't have to log into Google. You can use it as is, right? You don't have to do anything.
You mentioned that there's a Asia instance of the whiteboard. Which other instances are available?
So there are three right now. There's a US West, US East, and Asia instance. But I think if you feel there is slow latency, if you're a certain part of the world, we can always add more instances as well.
Right.
And I put the link on the chat. So if you click that, you can experience this board that I just created as students. So either draw where you come from, or you can try and move. If you use this move and resize tool, which is here, you can use that tool to drag some of these animals around on your tool, on your whiteboard.
How can the teacher see the work done by the students all together?
So all together, either you can watch the grid view. You can see 20 people at the same time on the grid view, or you can use this thing we call open class board. So you can quickly go through one student's notebook, another student's notebook, the third student's notebook, or you can download PDF and review it. So there's several different ways depending on which way you want to do it.
One request for enhancement is to add Punjabi language stickers as well.
Sure.
Okay. Can the teacher pick which tools the kids have access to?
Yes. So the teacher has full control. You can go to, like, if you go here to the settings menu, right? You can pick that students see simple tools or very simple tools like draw, erase, move, and text. I didn't show you the webcam stuff. I'll show you in a second too. And you can customize this to the nth level. You can say, hey, I don't want the kids to have calculators. I don't want them to have dice, pointers, or the palette. I can specify the font size, the brush size, or even the brush color that the kids have access to.
Great. Could you demonstrate the dot painter that you mentioned just now?
Sure. If I go to the, let me go to a new page. And then I say I want a coordinate plane. I want 10 ticks on it. Let's just do positive only, right? So that's it. And then if I go to this thing here, there's a dot painter, and then you can just click where you want your dots to go.
Right. What is the time machine feature? Is it a timer for boards?
That's a cool one. Okay. So if the kids are doing an activity, let's say this is Sid's board, right? He was doing an activity, and you want to, if it was asynchronous, and you want to go back and see how much time was he actually spending, and what was he doing, and how much, where was he struggling, you can turn on the time machine there, and then you can play the board backwards and forwards in time, right? So you can see, hey, when did he draw the tree, right? When did he? So you can see and you can play it forward, play it back. How much time did he spend drawing the tree? That's super useful for understanding asynchronous work, or going back and reviewing what the kid was doing.
Let's get back to the question about how do you check performance and give feedback, and how do you export grades?
So right now we don't have a way to export grades. We have, teachers have asked us about that. And we are working on reports as well. So you'll get a report saying how much time the kids spent on the board, when did they join, when did they leave, how much interaction did they do. So you'll get some sort of performance reports from the whiteboard as well.
In case of group activities, can it be used to generate reports with Excel sheets?
Not right now, but if you have ideas, again, we are very open to it.
Yeah, there's a request to demonstrate snip and paste.
I think we are almost out of time, though. I'm not sure, Reshma. We are scheduled only till 7:30, right? Or can we keep going? I'm okay to keep going, but it's up to you.
Yeah, we are scheduled till 7:30 because we usually have a 1-hour session, and I know this tool has like unlimited and versatility inside it. But I think we have got enough of a lot of things that we can explore to start with, and we can always continue. If you want, you can do it for another 5-7 minutes. I don't mind.
Okay. All right. Let's see if we can answer the questions at least, because that's very useful. We won't show anything more, but we'll just go through the questions.
Okay. Does the student have to submit anything?
No, whatever the student is doing gets saved automatically in the cloud. The students don't need to submit. Some other teachers ask the students to raise their hand, signaling to the teacher that they're done.
I think we pretty much caught up on all the questions. In case I missed anything, please do unmute and ask a question. There's a request to show construction if you have time.
You can see people. So you can change the size of the grid, so you can actually see more students at the same time. So you can see up to 20 students in each grid, and you can see multiple pages there as well. Dr. Vishal actually figured out how to take a webcam photo as well, which is awesome.
So yeah, that's the beauty. Like the more teachers explore, I think the more they will learn.
Yeah, again, I wanted to thank all of you guys to come and spend your valuable weekend time with us. And thank you, Reshma, for inviting us to demonstrate this tool. Like I said, we want to just have teachers explore it and find value and tell us how to improve. That's it. Right? That's the intention here.
I think we have more to learn the use of this chat before we start suggesting anything, and suggestion may still come just out of curiosity, nothing else. And I really keep up to my words that I just uttered. Is just like an Aladdin's lamp that you have shared with us, and it's almost everything you have covered in one particular tool. Whereas when we require from different tools, we require add-ons for certain other things. We have already merged it in one particular tool. This is really great. And the possibility of sharing it with different teachers, co-teachers at the same time, I think this tool is completely versatile. It's like you have done it, do aankhein bara haath, aise jo bolte hain. So it's a multi-purpose thing. Brilliant. Thanks for introducing to such a wonderful tool.
Thank you so much. It is all designed thanks to teachers and sessions like this. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Pawan and Sid, and I think Dhaval has joined also. So because we wanted to show teachers what all things are available. I know there are a lot of tools available and it is like impossible to keep up with everything. But whatever functionality, whatever things that you have added, I think it is very important for teachers to see it, explore it, and see what works best for them. So thank you so much for giving us time today. And those who are here, as per our regular routine, Dr. Waria will be taking a group picture with everybody, and I'm posting the feedback form. Please do fill the feedback form. Let us know what else you would like to see. Pawan said Whiteboard.chat. People are amazing. You just reach out to them on Facebook. Let them know what other things you might want to see and how you are using it. Post the pictures how you used it to help other educators be inspired with how you are using it. So I just posted the feedback link here. I'll be also sending the feedback link on the email along with our recorded video. So Kuzman, you have to say something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think a lot to learn from this one particular session. So I think we should be, we should keep on re-watching this video recording when Reshma shares with us, because there are a lot many tools already to be explored. And rather than, I think, one session, we should draft the sessions like how to use how to use Whiteboard for math, how to use Whiteboard for science, how to use Whiteboard for music lessons, subject specifics. If we can, that will make the topic more interesting, using Whiteboard for, say, teaching drawing or painting, something like that. So that would be quite appropriate for the group. So anyway, I think we'll plan out the sessions later. And for this particular session, I would request everyone to kindly come on to the webcam. Please be live for a while. Let us have a group picture. And let us show our smiles to these wonderful people we have together with us today. And I'm really thankful to Pawan and Siddharth and Dhaval for joining us for this session and inspiring us to use this particular tool. So yeah, more members to join, more members we're expecting. Chalo, jo bhi abhi so rahe, sab jaag jao. It's time, wake up. Join us for this. You can give your pose, something like this. Come on. Yes. Yeah. And I'm counting down now. It's 3, 2, 1. Here we go. That's great. Thanks everyone for this wonderful session. Thanks for your valuable time with us. And thanks Pawan, Siddharth, and Dhaval for sharing your wonderful time with us and teaching us how to use this tool.
Thank you for inviting us, Dr.
Thank you.
Vishal.
Our pleasure.